Hi, my name is FCG, and I'd figured I'd make a video talking about video games. I got just some Menace gameplay going in the background, and I'll talk about that later. Personally, I think the 2020s have been so far one of the video game eras of all time. So many really good titles have come out, like Elden Ring, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Baldur's Gate 3. All of those I love, and I think are glorious. A lot of the news in the video game space has been so negative recently, though, but for games that we knew were going to be bad anyway. Concord was 2 years ago at this point. It's already been 1 year for Skull and Bones. We knew Skull and Bones was going to be bad because Ubisoft wearing a straitjacket in a padded room would still manage to Rube Goldberg their way into a disaster. I don't have any jokes for Concord because the horse has already been cremated and scattered across a field. I believe that people want Marathon to fail because it would feed the negative algorithm and it can say it sucked all along. Marathon has been sitting at the front page of the Steam charts because I think doomers want to look at any dip in the player count and say it's Jover or over. Negativity does get more oxygen in the gaming ecosystem, and saying everything sucks is a more viable thing to say. The content cycle is so fast, people still think bleh. The content cycle is so fast that people still think Concord was recent because there was so much negativity around it and keeps it fresh. I think that we go through a content cycle of negativity whenever a game is bad. I see all these videos about X game sucks, and I feel that why not let X game die in the silence of the void instead of a witch trial? Why do we platform failed games instead of successful ones? It's because we like to hate, and that sucks. I don't want Ubisoft to stop making bad games, however, because it's free real estate. And all the funny jokes that we can make as well. Destiny 2 has been on my mind for a little while, ever since the big June 9th announcement, where it enters maintenance mode. We're no longer getting any more cool update contents. 12 years of Destiny, the game's not going to be tortured any longer by the middling updates, and the June 9th update will be possibly one of the best updates post-final shape. The other hand, though, is there won't be any new stories for the settings. I really like the lore of the Space Wizard shooting guns video game. Even when they were bad, you could still laugh at them and say this could have been an email. The only thing I disliked was the killing of Amanda Holliday because it felt so stupid. There was no build-up or pace at all to her death. And she died in a season content behind a paywall. You had to watch her die. You paid to watch her die. I even like Lightfall because of how dumb it was. It wasn't like Uncanny Valley of bad. It was... You could laugh at it because when Rohan said headlong and short-sighted and then got himself crushed by the MacGuffin, it was still kind of funny because he did the thing he said not to do. And it was like this weird B-movie subplot with Callus where he's back, kill him again. And you didn't really have to worry other than the fact that we were getting this new Spider-Man power. The Spider-Man power is pretty cool, except for they were taking it away from you way too often. And Neomuna, that place is pretty. All of the cool settings that we've visited so far in the D2 space is totally and completely pretty. Bungie knows how to make a damn pretty environment. Even the Cosmodrome is kind of pretty with its space architecture and all the bubbles. And it's kind of this washed out, drained out Russian feeling. I'm no D1 alpha veteran like so many people claim, or I started playing in middle school. I started playing middle school, and now I'm post college, and I met my wife through Destiny. And I started in Beyond Light. That's where I started playing, cause I just wanted something I remember. It's I just want to play a free shooter because Call of Duty costs money, even with a Game Pass. And Destiny 2 came up in all the shooters, and it also said it was really popular. at the time on the Xbox Marketplace. So I downloaded it, and I got this. I'm like, wow, this really is something. And I convinced all my friends to play it. And then like we did this stupid thing of like, oh, I got a bigger power number than you, you know. And it makes me sad that that's not going to happen again. One, because I'm not a child anymore, but two, because there's possibly not going to be a D3, or it's never going to be like where we go into this new place. There's a new thing to do. We have all the stuff we're going to have now after the June 9th update. I finished Final Shape. I liked it. I left the game because, you know, it's kind of over. We killed the scary ghost man by shooting him. And the problem with killing the scary ghost man by shooting him was there wasn't really a story to continue anymore besides what they have now. So I think they did cook with Renegades being about the 9. And the 9 is a good story plot because they've always been there. And so having them as antagonists for like post-Final Shape is a really good storyline to follow because it gives them a lot, because they've been so cryptic with the 9 they can basically make it the fuck up. You know. And I've always really liked Destiny 2 because the story doesn't matter. It's been obvious to that. Like, the story like does matter because we killed the scary ghost guy, but the whole point of killing the scary ghost guy is we could actually shoot him. That was the gameplay portion. It's always been about the gameplay of shooting ads and fodder, and then the big guy with your cool guns that you went out adventuring for, and also hitting the big guy and all the fodder with your space wizard abilities. And Bungie knows how to make a shooter. Like, I've always felt like Destiny 2 has been so fluid and floaty, but precise. And I kind of felt the same when I played Halo Combat Evolved for the first time, like a couple years ago, where you have this feeling of there's momentum and fluidity. But it's not like a movement shooter like Titanfall. It's more, I don't know. It feels like the game wants you to keep moving. It wants you to keep moving. It's not like COD where you're sliding around doing tricks and shit like a real operator. Or Battlefield where you kind of have to move slowly. Not if you play like the newer Battlefields, like the more modern ones. Or Hell Let Loose as a shooter where you do have to play it slow. But like, it felt really good for me to play because it was my first real shooter, obviously. But other than that, like, it felt really good. Except for the Warlock glide. That stuff is dumb. Like, you just try to jump. Instead of going upwards, you kind of like do a flat parabola, and then you die. And there's like no vertical lift at all. You don't get any vertical lift as a Warlock. A lot of people have said that Marathon is killing Destiny. I don't think so. I think Destiny post-Final Shape has always been kind of, where do we go now? As I said recently, where do we go now? Where does the story continue so it can shoot more bad guys with guns and space wizard stuff? But Bungie didn't know either, so I think they made Marathon. It's not a new IP, but it's to this generation of people who have existed after 9/11. It is a new IP. Because Marathon came out in 1991? Yeah. And so, Marathon's killing Destiny. But Marathon's going to be niche anyway. It's an extraction shooter. I'm not going to play it because I don't like extraction shooters. And a lot of people are going to be like that. But I'm sad because Bungie put their awesome shooter gameplay into an extraction shooter. And I've heard and I've seen gameplay of Marathon, and I think that's a Bungie game. But I'm not going to play it because I've always had this anxiety and fear of extraction shooters where I'm going to lose everything. And I don't like having the paranoia and anxiety of playing the game of I worked so hard for this and then it's going to be taken away because there's a guy 2 miles away in a bush with a good scope. And then at this point we're going to get into the thing of where everyone wanted to make a battle royale a few years ago, like Fortnite, Apex, and all the other things. We're going to get into this, I believe we're going to get into this extraction shooter section where at this point we're going to have the big three of Tarkov, Arc Raiders, and Marathon. But the problem with Marathon is it's in this weird place where Arc Raiders is supposedly casual and Tarkov is hardcore for those epic gamers. And so it doesn't know where it wants to be in that, on that spectrum. And when Marathon finds itself on that spectrum, I believe Bungie will continue investing in it for the foreseeable future, because it's another one of their forever games where they want it to see it to succeed and have it success. And so the cost of that, though, is we're probably not going to get Destiny 2 for another 3 years minimum, even though that's been said before and will continue being said. We're still not going to get a Destiny 3. Do I want a Destiny 3? Yeah, because I want to experience the story from the beginning. Especially since even with this June 9th update, we won't be able to play the Red War and the Forsaken campaign, which I haven't experienced. I would like to experience. I haven't experienced Shadowkeep either, but who the heck is going to buy Shadowkeep in the big 26? We should take those campaigns out of the vault because the vault never worked. The game is bigger than ever before. It's going to end at almost 200 gigabytes. Might as well go the whole mile and have it be a quarter of a terabyte. Bigger than the newest Call of Duty. And I would also like to experience all the season content I missed when I took breaks from this fine and dandy video game called Destiny 2. And other than that, I believe those are my terrible opinions on the Destiny 2 situation, where I want to experience another Bungie shooter, but I don't want to experience a Bungie shooter that's an extraction video game, because that ain't my thing. I want to experience Destiny 3. That's what I want. But we're not going to get that. And then maybe now I'll talk about myself, because I don't play shooters. I'm not a shooter thing. Destiny 2 is like my only shooter. I put 500 hours into Destiny 2. That's my favorite thing. But my top 3 video games in terms of playtime are Mordhau, War Thunder, and Mountain Blade 2, Bannerlord. Are these my favorite games? Yeah. No, they're not. But they are at the same time. They're a comfort drink, you know? It's hot coffee in the morning before you get on with your day. Especially, like, we get a new flavor of the month video game every time. It's like, oh, Repo, Lethal Company. But I always go back to Mordhau and War Thunder and Mountain Blade and a couple others, because I know what they are, I know what I'm getting into, and I know what I want from that experience. Except for War Thunder. That's Stockholm Syndrome. Ain't no doubt about it. Like, my friends got me into that game, and now I'm stuck. I put 1,000 hours into that game. I want to leave. And obviously, all three of those games are exceptions to my catalog, which is CRPGs and survival crafting with strategy and simulation games. So, like, my top game being a melee slasher that hasn't been updated in almost 2 years at this point is kind of weird. But I like that it's weird. And that's me. That's FCG and my terrible opinions on Destiny 2. Uh, the cycle of negativity on YouTube, I guess, and a little bit about me. But thank you for listening to my unsolicited opinion. Get off my lawn and have a good day. Thank you. Like and subscribe, brother man, for new content, brother. Hell yeah!